Yo, 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 people, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Um, yeah. um, it's the same old Man United, man. Same old United. Um, Man United won 21, right? Another frustrating game. A game that we knew that, okay, we at home, right? We're home. So, it should be like straightforward. It should be straightforward that we're like, okay, this is it, man. This is our, you know we're in Europe now. We need to show something. We're playing at home, right? We got to show some kind of drive, determination, hunger, you know but what do? We don't show up. Joshua Eastman, what's going on, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. That was a crazy loss. Listen, the thing is, okay, Joshua, what's going on, my man? We didn't lose, okay? We didn't lose, but it sure damn feels like a loss. That's how it was. It feels like a loss. It is so frustrating, man. It feels like a loss, right? I mean, we are playing at home. How do we get outplayed at home? Okay, first half, we looked all right. First half, we looked all right. We moved the ball around very neatly and stuff. We get the goal, and then we find a way to shoot ourselves in the foot. I mean, typical United. Typical United. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, and listen, man. I want Ten Hag to. I want Ten Hag to be our manager for the long haul. Joshua, you're funny, man. Especially like Joshua, you were like, oh, I forgot. It felt like a loss. I feel you, dude. I feel you. It feels like a loss. Because, I mean, yeah, it was 1-1, Joshua. 1-1, my man. 1-1, but it feels like a loss, man, because this was it. We was supposed to start this competition knowing that, okay, this is a competition that we have to win, man. We got to win it. We got to start on the front foot. But United, man, United always know how to mess things up, right? Like they know how to mess things up, man. It is so frustrating. A nice goal from Christian Eriksen. I was surprised to see Eriksen starting with Bruno. First of all, that was something that I didn't really expect. People, smash that like as you're coming in. If you haven't subscribed as well, please smash that subscribe button. I'm your boy Luther. This is Man United Central. I appreciate you guys being here, enjoying this frustration with me and all of us because United should have won that game. All right. No excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like basically, Ten Hag has zero excuses, right? And listen, I'm one that wants to see this manager make it. I want to see Ten Hag prove people wrong, right? I want his type of ball. I want to see that Ajax type of ball, come to fruition. But I mean, from bits and pieces, we do see some patterns of play, especially in the first half. We're looking good. We score, but we always find out a way to shoot ourselves in the foot. Like that goal, man, like it was a comedy of errors, right? Okay, we lose possession of the ball, and then everybody, like there were like six players who could have stopped that ball, right? There was Licha, of course, he was already on yellow card. He couldn't really go as hard. And then you had Maguire coming in like with a big slide. I don't know what Maguire was doing there. And then like Rashi, like all these people who could have stopped that ball and messed up. And then it got to Christian Eriksen, who thought that he has all the time in the world and decides to, I don't know what he was trying to do there. Okay. Yeah, man. Remco, what's going on, Remco? Remco, welcome, welcome. Yes, Man United versus Twente, man. It's frustrating. What are your thoughts on the game, guys? What are your thoughts on the game? What do you think, man? Personally, I think Ten Hag is gonna suck himself, man. Because he's not making the right decisions, right? Oh, you're Dutch. Oh, okay, okay. Are you a are you a Twente fan? Let me know, man. Listen, my manager's Dutch, so I have a lot of Dutch players in at Manchester United. So listen, I like the Dutch. All right, but listen. So are you happy with the 1-1 win? Because I don't know if you guys saw after that game, the Twente players they were really surprised. Honestly, I'm fine. Oh, you're fine, dude. Okay, all right. Um, okay, yeah. You guys miss Arne Slot. Listen, I know, man. I know. Listen, he had to go to a big club. You can't blame him, right? You can't blame him. And then he wanted to work with his buddy Eric Ten Hag, right? And that's what happened. And I right really, I'm hoping that this season Eric Ten Hag getting Rene Hake in, getting Ruud van Nistelrooy in, we were supposed to see something different, but still, we're not seeing, changes like that, right? The team, of course, is young. They're rebuilding. I know it's going to take time to build a team like Ten Hag had at Ajax, right? So it's going to take time, but it's one of those things that Ten Hag doesn't have that time, right? Because Manchester United fans, they say, "Oh, this is your third year now, Eric Ten Hag," right? So let's see. Rumco is saying, "No, we fans don't blame him. We will always." Yes, I mean he did a really good job at Feyenoord for sure, for sure. Uh, Jess Art Studio, hola, hola, como está? People, Remco, smash those likes, man. Hit that subscribe if you haven't done so. I know you're a Feyenoord fan, but it's right to support Manchester United because Rene Hake is over here. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Is it Rene Hake? Um, and I'm hope I'm saying Feyenoord correctly. But listen, Eric Ten Hag doesn't have much time. Okay, and today one thing that I saw, I don't know if it's favoritism. Look, he makes the changes right to try to get us to to win. He brings in who Mason Mount. He brings in Rasmus Hoyland. He also brings in Kobe Mainu, but he brings them too late at 70th minute. But then, Twente already had some momentum, right? It was too late for them to change the game. That's one. And another thing is, if you're gonna bring these players in to help us change the game, you gotta take out Bruno. Bruno Fernandes was again crap. Okay, Bruno Fernandes needed to be subbed at the 60th minute, but Ten Hag keeps him in the game. It's very interesting, right? When you're subbing, you're taking Ahmad Diallo off, you're taking Christian Eriksen off, and you're keeping Bruno, but you're putting Bruno in the left wing. I mean, come on. You do have left wingers. You have Anthony. Put him Anthony out there, right? Uh, uh, who would I like to replace Ten Hag? I don't want Ten Hag to leave. That's the thing. I'm not going to be anywhere close for Ten Hag to leave. I want him to stay, right? Because honestly, I don't see anyone out there that is, who can do a better job right now. Like if you compare like Eric Ten Hag, right? Because Ten Hag has a history of working with young players, developing players. He has a history of building teams. So that's what we need. Felicia Bland, what's going on? Yo, smash a like. Welcome, people. Smash that like. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, guys. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I am Luther. This is Man United Central. So listen, So Ten Hag, he's running out of time, right? Because next game is Tottenham, right? And the Tottenham game, he cannot afford to get another loss or a draw because already people are not happy with him. And of course, the Ineos, the entire organization, they're looking at him, say, "Hey, man, what's your excuse now? You said, okay, the last couple of seasons you had a whole bunch of injuries, right?" Felicia Bland, okay, why should I do that, man? Felicia Bland, why should I shut up? Okay, I'm talking about Manchester United. What team do you support, Felicia Bland? All right, so listen, Um, so one thing I can say, listen, Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag was backed, right? He was backed by Ineos bringing the players that he wants. That way he can play the type of football. Now you can say, okay, he has a whole bunch of new players that came in. He needs time to get those players to play the way he wants to, right? Now I hope he gets time all the way until at least December, because if we don't get wins, right? He doesn't string wins together. He doesn't influence these players to start scoring goals. It's not going to look good for him, right? Because there's already a lot of frustration out there. There's a lot of people who were Ten Hag out, right? Who did not want him to get this job this time around, right? They were ready for him to get sacked, but he got the job, and so a lot of people already, like, they're sharpening their knives. They're like, listen, this guy is not good enough. This guy is not good enough. He needs to be sacked. But the problem is, Ineos, right? They have backed him with the players that he wanted. So right now, imagine if Ten Hag gets sacked, another manager is going to come on board. I don't know, say Thomas Tuchel comes on board. Okay, Thomas Tuchel is going to come in and is going to check, okay, looking at the players that we have, okay, I don't like this player. I don't like Bruno. I don't like Xerxes. I don't like Rasmus. So already it creates another big problem, because now a new manager will come in. They'll try to bring in whatever players they want. So it's a problem there, right? So that's why personally I really want Ten Hag to work, because he has his players, right? He needs to be able to get these players to play the way he wants, right? Now we saw issues like today. We were winning, but in the back we created our own mistakes, right? And then we shot ourselves in the foot. We got scored on, and that has happened time and time again, right? That is just something that we've always had a problem with. Whenever we make a mistake, we get scored on, and then our heads drop. We cannot kind of recover. That fighter mentality, that the grit and the willingness to say, you know what, we're not going to lose. We're playing at home. This is embarrassing. We're losing. We're letting Twente play us off the park at our home. That is unacceptable, right? You saw Twente. I don't know if you guys saw some of the pictures, man, or the videos. Twente was celebrating as if they won the championship at Old Trafford, because they didn't expect to win. I mean, they didn't expect to get a point from us. They expected to come here and, Man United is going to do what United does and put, like, 4 or 5 goals past them. But that was not the case. They came in, they played their football, and they left with a point. That is a win for them, right? And for us, it's a loss, because this was supposed to be a good night for us, right? We get that win, and then boom, we go with momentum when we play Tottenham over the weekend. But now we already, like, our heads are dropping. Everybody's going to be piling on us, saying they same old same United. They cannot score goals. Again, today we were not really playing like the way we play first half with Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace first half, we saw some better patterns of play. Now, is it because Ten Hag switched the defense by bringing Maguire in? Because in Crystal Palace we had De Ligt. De Ligt is more of a ball playing defender. He worked very well with Martinez. Could that be it? And then in the midfield, I mean, not much changes in the midfield. Okay, yeah, Ugarte came in, but still, it wasn't the same. We didn't play the same way like we did at Crystal Palace first half, right? Rashford did not play bad today, personally, right? Again, Xerxes was pretty decent. Xerxes was linking up play like usual very well. But again, even for him, he needs to be more clinical. He needs to be at the right place at the right time to receive the ball. That way he can put the ball in the back of the net, right? Again, Amad Diallo, to me, he was solid again, right? So, but, making one change with Maguire should not change the way you play that much, right? And again, today we saw Man United. They don't have the anger, the wantingness, the willingness to fight, right? Because I'm looking at a quote here from Ten Hag. He said, "Listen, Manchester United did not have the fighting. They were not fighting for every yard, unlike Twente, right? Basically, Twente played the game of their life, right? That's what Ten Hag said, right? So of course Ten Hag had said, listen, Ideally, he wouldn't. He wish he played a different team because he loves Twente. That's his, boyhood club. So he wish he played a different team. But still, yeah, I'm sure he wanted us to. He would have liked to win that game. But Twente came and they left with the point. So I mean, it's frustrating. Felicia, I know you're joking, man. I know you're kidding, man. I know you're kidding, man. Ramco, all this trouble in the media as well makes everything ten. Yeah, that's another thing to Ramco. Ramco is saying, yeah, the media and the social media everywhere, they hate Manchester United. The whole world hates Manchester United. Whenever they see this kind of issues happen at Manchester United, whoa, people love it. They even told Eric Ten Hag last season. One of the reporters was interviewing him and said, "Yeah, man, Eric Ten Hag, we like it when you guys are going through trouble, right? Because whenever they write their little stories, they put their little tweets, right? People like everybody. If so long as you attach Manchester United name on there, people click on it because people like today everywhere, ESPN, everywhere you look, they'll be talking about Manchester United, right? Because that's what it is. They don't like to see us succeeding when we're failing, when we're in the shit, in the mud. Part of my language. That's what sells, right? So, so Ten Hag, knowing this, knowing how the media treated him last season, because everybody was talking about Ten Hag is going to be sacked, and then he won the FA Cup. All the media, social media, everywhere they were reporting this guy is going to be sacked. He knows how the British media is. His job was to make sure this team fires in all cylinders and starts winning matches because that's the only way to shut these media and the haters. But he's not doing that, and that is a big problem because if he's not doing that, right? If he's losing matches, for example, if he's not the team is not playing, people don't see a style of play, all those things he's feeding to that narrative, right? People will be like, oh, Ten Hag is a terrible coach, blah blah blah. He should have really been sacked. Why did he get a second chance at Manchester United? Blah, that kind of thing. So he needs to find a way to get a tune out of this team, right? Because there's he has nowhere to hide, right? Nowhere to hide. He was backed, right? These are his players, right? Like come on. He went and brought in almost like what 5 Ajax players, right? We have Onana, we have Martinez, Mazraoui, Delit. Come on. You have your players, man. You have Anthony. So there's no excuses. We should be able to play, at least some kind of IS ball, right? But it ain't happening. Ain't happening. So let's see what this article is saying. Okay. So of course the goal that we scored against Twente at 68th minute was was a nice goal, but again, Ten Hag said, listen, he was very unhappy. He says, you saw it was the game of their life. They fought for every yard, right? We didn't. And 99% is not enough, right? You have to give 100%. You have to kill the game. You have to finish it off. He says, Ten Hag says, we are leading 1-0, and then there comes an atmosphere, a poor approach, and the team. You have to go for the second goal, and then you kill the game, right? And that's another thing, right? Ten Hag said, listen, he's telling these players, you gotta go for the choke. Make sure, like, hey, man, we score 1 goal, we gotta go and get another goal. I mean, these players, right? They're professionals, right? These are not like some of you or me who don't know what it takes to play in the highest level, right? They know that, hey, last season we could score 1 goal, and then before you know it, we would get scored on and we end up losing the game. So 1 goal is not enough. They should have continued hunting for that second game, right? And that's the thing. Second goal, third goal. That way you can relax, knowing that okay, now we can kind of hold back a little bit. But I liked what I saw against Barnsley the other day, where we scored, like we put 7 past them, right? Because we kept on scoring because that's what gives you cushion, and you get comfortable. Like today, I expected to see the likes of Collier coming in to get some game time, but we couldn't do the job because Ten Hag couldn't really bring the kids or anything like that because we didn't have the game under control, and that is frustrating, man. It's frustrating knowing that these players that we have, they cannot put in that fight. They cannot put in that grit. They cannot put in that. You cannot light up a fire under their butts to say, "Hey, man, we gotta get this win." Right? Ericsson was saying we're disappointed as a team. We wanted more, but it was far from good enough in the end. That's what Ericsson said. Ericsson continued saying they looked like they wanted it more than us, and that can be right, right? Ericsson says personally, you score a goal, you think it's going to be a match winner, but it always goes the other way, right? And Ten Hag was asked about Ericsson's criticism of the team's mental approach. Ten Hag was like, listen, definitely a concern, right? So they understand that, listen, there's a mental issue here. There's a mental approach. There's something that needs to be triggered in their brains, knowing that, okay, one goal is not enough. We need to continue fighting, like, right? Ten Hag said, listen, definitely it's a concern, the mental approach, right? He said, especially as we are very ambitious, and when you have an ambition, you have to perform. Prove the point, and especially today in the second half, we were too complacent. We didn't bring it over the line, and as a team, you have to bring this, right? Ten Hag continues saying, I think often the mentality is very good from this team, right? He says, I saw in many games how high our work rate is, and that is often very good. Today, I have some criticism. It is not only the team that has to look in the mirror, I am a part of it, right? So Ten Hag is agreeing that, okay, it's a whole team thing, because like today, a lot of people, if you check social media and everything, they'll be like, oh, Bruno this, Bruno that. Yeah, Bruno was crap. Bruno should have been subbed for sure, right? Bruno should not have started because, especially that Crystal Palace game, he did not warrant to start today, right? Because, but again, Ten Hag believes in playing his players into form, right? So Bruno had a bad game. He gave him this game that way. Hopefully, he will get back to get some form back, right? Same thing, Rashi. We saw last season. Rashford went through that patch. He wasn't scoring. He kept on playing him, hoping that okay, something will trigger. But sometimes maybe you gotta let them sit on the bench and watch other players perform. That way they can get their fight back, their hunger, right? And that could be it. Or even today, as Ten Hag was making the subs, he should have subbed Bruno. That way, as he's leaving the field, he'll feel like, oh my God, I am the captain and I'm getting subbed because I'm not performing. It will trigger something in him saying, okay, listen, if I'm be given another chance, I have to deliver, right? Because I'm the captain. Everything kind of, starts and ends with me to motivate this team, to carry this team to a win, right? So Ten Hag maybe should have done something like that. Subbing Bruno, that way he can think about it as he's leaving the pitch, right? And then the whole stadium is seeing him, then he could have been like, okay. But if he keeps on, he knows he's playing crappy, but he keeps on playing until the 90th minute, then Bruno will be like, oh well, I guess I don't have to step up my game because the manager believes in me. He's going to continue playing me, which is unacceptable. There is no Man United player. There is no Man United player in that team should feel that, hey, I am indispensable. I cannot be subbed or I cannot be benched. That should not happen. Listen, some of us are old enough. Remember back in the Sir Alex Ferguson days, we have seen all the big players being subbed, man. We saw Cristiano Ronaldo. Come on, my GOAT. Cristiano Ronaldo got subbed, got benched, right? We saw Scholes, we saw Keane, we saw David Beckham, right? All these big name players, they got subbed. Come on, man. Everybody should be able to say, hey, once I wear that jersey, listen, nobody's above this team. You know what I mean? Nobody's above this team. And if I don't perform, you hold on to the bench. That's how it should be. People should be like playing should be a privilege. You need to earn the right to wear that jersey and represent the team, right? But the likes of Bruno and them, they probably feel like, hey man, the manager's always gonna play me. That's unacceptable, right? Bruno should not be anywhere in the team against Tottenham. But would I be surprised if he starts? Probably not, because Ten Hag. Ten Hag is stubborn, right? He believes, okay, Bruno is my captain. I gotta stick by him, right? Or could it be that Ten Hag is maybe scared of Bruno? Which that would be ridiculous. I don't even want to think about it. Why would Ten Hag be scared of Bruno? Well, it could be scared because he doesn't want to lose the dressing room. That could be it. Because if maybe he feels that, listen, if I sub Bruno or if I bench Bruno, then the whole dressing room may be like, oh, he may lose the dressing room, right? And then because Bruno has so much influence in the team, maybe he feels like, well, if Bruno is not happy, then the whole team, the whole vibe in the team is gonna be down. That could be it, but it doesn't make any sense because the whole team across the board, they should all know, like, listen, whatever it is, you or whatever it doesn't matter who your name is. Whenever you wear that red Man United jersey, you can be benched, right? You are not guaranteed a spot. There's always going to be the next person who's willing to fight more than you, right? That's how it should be across the board, like that. That way, these players can know, okay, man, we are united. We are Man United, right? Like I can only imagine the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy, right? And whenever he's sitting there, looking at that team, and he's seeing the way they're playing, they're not fighting, they're not giving it their all. That is I can imagine it's very frustrating to the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy, because back in his days, Sir Alex Ferguson days, that would not have happened. Our teams used to fight till the end, fight to the death, and that's how it should be. But these players of ours, man, they're just like, they're taking it too easy. They're letting their heads drop, and when their heads drop, that's it. It's over. And most teams right now, they know, oh, you know what? Whenever we go to United, whenever we're playing United, when we go to Old Trafford, for example, nobody's scared anymore. Back in the days, people used to be defeated the minute they're in that Munich tunnel. They're about to come out, they're already defeated because they know it's going to be a battle out there when we get on the field. These teams right now, they're like, shh, yeah, it's only United, man. Listen, they can score. These teams, that's what they think, right? They think Man United, okay, fine. We can play this basketball type of football, and if they score, and then we score on their end, their heads will drop, and then we have a chance to win it, right? So no team fears us anymore, which is unacceptable because teams did not like playing us. Watching some of these podcasts from like Rio and all these places, ex players, they were like, listen, back in those Sir Alex Ferguson days, teams used to be defeated, but the minute they got in that tunnel, because they're like, man, it's not going to be easy out there. But now, Twente come to our home, they feel like, well, we can get something. That's why they're sitting there celebrating, man. I mean, it's painful, but you know what? At the back of my head, I still feel also optimistic, right? I feel optimistic because I see that we're building something. The players that we're signing, the young players, people, smash a like if you haven't done so already. Hit the subscribe if you haven't done so. I appreciate you supporting the channel, right? I'm optimistic because I see Manchester United, they're building something. I see that we're working towards a goal. And these young players that we're signing, like yesterday or the day before, we signed two young players, the likes of Lenny Yoro. Most of the players that we have now, they're under 26. So these players will be around for the next maybe 5 years. So again, we are building something. And luckily this time we have footballing people making footballing decisions at our team. So again, they know what they're trying to build, and that's That's why they're signing certain players to get us to that level. They're trying to build a team that not only just wins the Premier League next year, for example. They want a team that can consistently challenge for titles, right? That's what they're building. And this is good because the structure is already there. Ten Hag now needs to make sure that he uses that structure to help him, guide the team to trophies and titles. And to do that, he has to start winning, stringing wins together, right? If he doesn't do that, then he's gonna get sacked, and then the process will start all over again. Which personally, I don't want. I don't want to go through another manager, man. I want Ineos to, back this guy. They've already backed him. I want him to stick with him. Give him until December. Hopefully we see something. And maybe after that point, then make a decision. Who will it be if Ten Hag goes? I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I'm not even going to think about it. I'll deal with it then. But from now until then, I'm backing this guy. I'm backing Ten Hag. I want him to turn this ship around. And I really hope that he starts it at Tottenham, because losing at Tottenham will be a disaster, people. Will be a disaster. You guys let me know what you think about the game. Leave me a comment. What are your frustrations? What do you think? What is the position do you think Ten Hag will finish this season? What is your bare minimum, right? What position? Is it top 4, top 5? Let me know. What do you think Ten Hag is going to finish this season? Is he going to win another trophy? If you ask me, my bare minimum is, of course, next season we have to be back in the Champions League, right? So that being the case, it means that he has 2 routes. He has to win the Europa, this competition that we couldn't win today. He has to win it. That way we get to the Champions League, right? Or he has to finish top 4. Finishing top 4 in the Premier League, it is going to be difficult because the top 3, they're already taken. It's going to be Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Those top 3 are gone, right? So the final Champions League spot, the 4th one, it's a battle. The 4th one, you're competing. It's going to be Tottenham, Chelsea. You got Aston Villa. It's going to be hard to make it top 4. Can United do it? I don't know. Based on what I saw today, I don't know. I don't see us getting top 4, right? Unless we, in the next couple of weeks after international break, we kick on to a different gear to see if we can get there, right? So again, the easiest route for Ten Hag, because he is a cup manager, is to win this Europa League. If he could win the Europa League, then that's his route to the Champions League. If he says you're going to go to the Premier League route, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a battle because, as I said, the first 3 spots are already taken. Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. Those 3 spots are gone. Now, the 4th spot, you have how many teams? We have Chelsea, we have Tottenham, Aston Villa, and Man United. 4 teams competing for 1 spot. Ziad, what's going on, Ziad? Smash that like, Ziad. Listen, Ziad. First of all, have you hit the subscribe yet? Please do so. Let me tell you something, Ziad. Tuchel, would you take him? No, I don't like Tuchel, man. I don't know why. Okay, Thomas Tuchel. First of all, this guy, he got sacked at Bayern. He got sacked at Dortmund. He got sacked at Chelsea, right? And Tuchel, for me, he's not really a project type of manager, right? I don't think he's a project type of manager. I think you're saying Villa will get 4. Listen, Aston Villa, they're playing some good football, dude. They're playing some good football. So so Thomas Tuchel to me is not a project manager, right? He's one of those managers. Thomas Tuchel is like, if you think of the Glazer type of managers where you bring him in, you throw him some money, and then he would win you a trophy, he would win you the Premier League. But in the long haul, I don't think so. I think for me personally, I think Ten Hag is that manager, but because he has history of promoting the youth, he has history of working for the with youth, he has history of building teams, right? He could work with the project, but Tuchel, I don't think so. So I don't know. People are talking about Nagelsmann could be if, for example, if Ten Hag goes, then you want to bring the likes of Nagelsmann. I don't know. Um, and please, nobody should ever think of Southgate because whenever I keep on hearing this Southgate thing, it drives me nuts. Okay, listen, Southgate, he can never be anywhere close to Manchester United, right? Nowhere close to Manchester United. But yeah, again, there are some odds out there that Southgate apparently he's waiting on the wings, knowing that hey, if Ten Hag gets sacked, he could be the next one to take the job. Shh. Listen, listen. If that was to happen, man, it is gonna be. Ineos would have made the huge mistake because the number of people that don't want Southgate to take the job, it is tremendous. It's gonna be a riot, right? So yeah, hopefully it's no Southgate, right? Uh, I'll take Nagelsmann. Tuchel, no. You know, uh, some people back then they were talking about the Zerbi. You know, again, not the Zerbi for me. The Zerbi for Man United. Man United is too big of a club, so you definitely want someone who has some kind of stature. Again, the reason I like Ten Hag is because he has gone through a lot with his team. Like he went through the whole during the sale process and like going through the first two seasons. He went through a lot. So he has been through the whole the lowest, and now I would like for him to see, to get to the peak, right? Because now he actually has a structure to help it. You know, um, so now he has to deliver to kind of help what Ineos did by backing him, right? Uh, Ziad said Ten Hag is a fraud. Listen, hey, listen. That I know that's what people say. Right? I know that's what people say. But I want to give him a benefit of a doubt, right? I want to give him a benefit of a doubt. Now, one thing he hasn't shown me is the in-game management is not the greatest. Um, Again, he has a lot of work, but in the back of my head, I'm saying, oh well, maybe something different will happen because now he has his players, the players that he wanted. Because last time he said, oh, I cannot play Ajax ball because I don't have the players that can do that. I don't know, right? And maybe at Ineos they already have a plan because if Ten Hag goes, then of course Ruud van Nistelrooy will take over, right? Uh, the structure ain't gonna teach him how to go. Well, you're right, Ziad. The structure ain't gonna teach him, but the structure has kind of backed him by bringing him the pieces, the ingredients to cook his meal, right? So that's what I'm saying. This season, Ten Hag has no excuse, right? He has no excuse. He has to deliver. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Ineos, this new structure is gonna give him till maybe till December to say, hey man, we backed you with the players. We gave you time because he can say, well, we have a whole bunch of new players coming in. They're learning a new system and all this stuff, right? Cool. Give him some time to December because by then, whatever you're trying to teach this team, people should be able to see, okay, on the field. You know what I mean? So that could be the situation here. Now, if he goes, then of course, most likely the automatic thing is Ruud van Nistelrooy takes over, right? The longer we keep him, we run the risk of no top four. Um, I think people are gassing Ineos. They own 25% at the end of the day. They are limited. Well, yes, they are limited, but they own the important part of it, which is the footballing side of the pie, right? They handle the footballing side of the pie. And that's what really we care about, right? Ineos, I mean, the Glazers back then, they were more into the revenue, money, and all this stuff. Ineos, they're more into the footballing. And from what I saw this summer, the moves they were making, the moves that they're still making now, signing these young players to bring them in and stuff like that. I like that because it shows that these guys, they have a plan, and they know what they're trying to do. Back in the days when we had the Glazers and the Murtaugh and the Woodward, they were kind of guided by money, right? Uh, yeah, you can say the Glazers still signed the checks, true, but they kind of gave Ineos, to handle the footballing side of things, because Glazers are smart too, because they're like, listen, um, if the footballing side fails, then people cannot go say, oh, blame the Glazers. Automatically now, as of now, people already say, you know what? If this whole thing fails, it is blame Ineos, because the Glazers are like, listen, man, we gave Ineos the footballing side, so which kind of works for the Glazers both ways, right? If we succeed, then of course Man United is going to make a whole bunch of money. The Glazers are going to keep on taking their dividends, right? So boom, well and good. If Ineos fails, the Glazers are like, listen, it wasn't us, man. We gave 25% or whatever percentage to this guy Ineos and his team. They're the ones who failed. So I mean, it's the whole thing is crazy, man. Um, the late Xerxes Mazraoui were all Ten Hag signing. I agree. Um, right. Yeah. I don't know about Xerxes. I don't know about Xerxes. I think the late, apparently this time, the late being brought in or being suggested, from what we read, it was something that was suggested by the scouting, of the Ineos scouters or whatever. They say, hey, maybe we should go for the late and all this stuff. And of course, Ten Hag was like, yeah, the late's my boy, whatever. Still, all these players that you mentioned right there, Ziad, yeah, they were part. Ten Hag knows them. He has some kind of connection. I don't think he has connection with Xerxes, but most of the other ones, like the five players from Ajax, he has connection on for most of them, right? So, um, so this project is failing. Ineos aren't doing great keeping this guy. Well, the thing is, at this point, um, who do you think makes the call? To sack him to sack him is definitely Ineos, man. It's gonna be Ineos, because Ineos is the one that went to Ten Hag in Ibiza and say, "Hey, man, we interviewed a whole bunch of managers and we thought you were the right person for the job, right?" So when it comes to sacking him, it's gonna be Ineos. But also Ineos, they don't wanna feel like mugs, because they did that strategic review for the longest time. They did the review. They interviewed all these managers, right? And then they went back to Ten Hag saying, "Hey, you are, you are the right person for this job." So they cannot just now all of a sudden, yes, he hasn't performed very well. A couple of these games that just started, like 5 games. I don't know how many games we played so far, and then they go sack him. Then they will look like mugs. But I think they may go to give him time. Say, "Hey, man," at least even to the fans, they will tell the fans, if they decide to sack him, "Hey, we gave him time, right? We didn't just say, oh, we just sacked him. We didn't kind of back him. We backed him. We got him the players. We gave him time to develop his players. We gave him time for his new players to be bedded in, but it didn't work out. So that's why now we're making this change." That will make sense, and most of the fans, they'll be, all right, cool. The people, especially those who are Ten Hag in, like myself, right? But of course, the people who are Ten Hag out, they want him sacked yesterday. And as you said, Ziad, you may be right. The longer we wait, the longer we're gonna be further away from the top four, right? Again, what do? Right? You can sack the man now, and then Ruud van Nistelrooy takes over. Um, what if Ruud van Nistelrooy fails, and then now you're gonna have another legend? Can you imagine people calling for sack Ruud van Nistelrooy? I would hate to see that, man, because I like Ruud van Nistelrooy, man. He gave me some of the really good memories. Because listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave us some, decent football. We were attacking like crazy, but again, he failed. He got sacked, and people were calling him to be sacked. And then now you give the job to Ruud van Nistelrooy, and then I don't know. Is it going to work out? We don't know, because right now Ruud is in there, in the trenches with Ten Hag, but still things are not really working out perfectly. Does Ruud have something different way of managing compared to Ten Hag? Maybe, right? Maybe, but I don't know. It's this whole thing is kind of, it's intriguing. It's interesting. You know, um, apparently Ten Hag was calling Xerxes regularly, according to Dimatio. It could be, yeah, calling him, but I don't think they have history like the way he has history with Delit, Mazraoui, Anthony. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to history. But yeah, calling him, yeah, that could very well be the case because they had identified him, Xerxes, as that striker they want to bring in. And honestly, Xerxes, when it comes to that link-up play, I like it. I like it, man. But again, Xerxes is not a player that is going to give us 30 goals. You know, I want what I really want to see is Xerxes play with Rasmus. Because Xerxes can link the play very well, right? And then I want Rasmus to be the target man. So if I'm playing Xerxes and Rasmus, it means Bruno gets dropped. So my midfield could be like maybe Ugarte, Ericsson, or it could be like Ericsson, Menu, Xerxes can play that 10, kind of thing, because I think he can play a 10, So, Ziad is saying Barada, Ashworth. Oh, definitely, this is it's a Barada, man. It's a Barada. Oh, it could be a team effort because, I mean, they all work as a team because we, during the summer, we did get some insight on how they're, basically how they're coming up with, signing these players. They do. I think they all have some kind of vote. They all agree, and then Ten Hag gets brought in, and then they agree. Okay, let's sign him, or let's, Ten Hag has like a veto or something like that, right, on what players to bring in. So it's basically all the players that were brought in, the whole team agreed on, right? So, if it all fails, it's not only Ten Hag. Yes, there could be Ten Hag players because that's what he wanted, but the entire team, the Ineos team, Barada, Ashworth, Vivell, Wilcox, they all say, okay, yeah, this is the right profile of players we should be bringing in, right? So you're saying Silva, Tuchel, Poch, Frank were all interviewed. Will you be interested in Silva, Tuchel, Frank? Ah, man. Thomas Frank? Forget about it. Antonio Silva? Nah. So if I was to choose Silva, Tuchel, or Frank, I'm gonna go with Tuchel. Even though personally I don't think Thomas Tuchel is a project type of manager, I'll go with Tuchel. But again, Tuchel. I don't know if you saw that report. I have a video on here somewhere on my channel. Tuchel. There was a report that came out that he was very close to being Man United manager, right? That negotiations was going very well, but when it almost got to the end of it, when they were talking about money and everything was kind of working out, and then, but it got to a point that Thomas Tuchel was like, when Ineos kind of told Tuchel how the recruitment structure is going to work, right? They told him, okay, maybe I'm paraphrasing here. They probably say, hey, any players that we're going to sign, we all have to agree on criteria of a player. We all get votes and stuff like that. So Tuchel, after he heard the recruitment structure that Ineos is trying to implement at Manchester United, because we didn't have one, Tuchel was like, no. I'm not doing that to myself again, right? I'm not putting myself into that again, because it could be that it was probably the same thing that maybe Chelsea had, or Bayern Munich had, or Dortmund had, which he didn't like. Tuchel is probably one of those managers who wants to have a final say, or of who or what player they sign, kind of thing. And he said, listen, I'm not going to put myself through that type of structure when it comes to recruitment and bringing in players. So I don't know. It could be that could be the reason why. Again, I don't see Tuchel coming in. There you go, Ziad. That's correct. I didn't read your comment. Yeah, he wants control over transfers. Ziad is saying, I don't really want Tuchel would be. Yeah, of course, Tuchel is more of a cup winning guy. Yeah, Thomas Frank is better option. Yeah, man. I mean, all of them. Thomas Frank. I don't know, man. Come on, Man United is a big club, man. Right? Okay, we used to be a big club. All right. Well, we're still a big club, man. Listen, we're still a big club because even now, Man City is winning everything. They cannot fill a stadium. Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, we fill the 75 capacity stadium, right? Man United, we are big, man. So it needs to be a manager who can handle that pressure because that pressure that comes with Man United job is a different level. It's a different level. You're constantly criticized in the media. You're constantly written about. Every move you make gets criticized. So it needs a certain mentality. So I don't know. I will go for Nagelsmann if I was to spend it personally because I think he could handle it. But Thomas Frank, you would say, oh Silva, they have that Premier League experience. That could be something that works for them. Um, oh yeah, listen, Thomas Frank has outcoached. Yeah, a lot of managers, unfortunately, they have outcoached my manager, man. I mean, listen, but Ten Hag will say, well, in a few games, he outcoached the greatest in Pep Guardiola. There you go. That's my comeback. Yeah, come on, man. You know, Ten Hag will say, yeah, I outcoached, Pep Guardiola and hoisted that FA Cup. Right? Um, Nagelsmann apparently United had concerns over him playing a back five. Yeah, again, you know what? Amorim. Now that is a name right there, buddy. Ziad, Amorim. I would like. Amorim I like because um I like his football, man. I like his football. But again, I mean back five. Let me see. Nagelsmann plays back five. Does he play with wing backs? Because if he plays, Nagelsmann plays back five with wing backs. I mean, we're stacked with center defenders. It could work. um, yeah. He was on the list. Marino was on the list for sure. Yeah. So listen, if Nagelsmann, I cannot remember his. If he plays back five, right? We have. Imagine this: we have Lenny Yoro, we have Matthias De Ligt, we have Martinez. All right, center back, and then you have Mazraoui, Dalot is your wing backs. It could work, man. Or we bring in. Obviously, we need another left full back come in. It could work. Back five, Ugarte, Menu in front. Yeah, and the front three. That's what I'm saying. It could work, but Ten Hag is stubborn, and that's another option that I was listening to a show. I was watching something on YouTube or just looking around, doing my quote unquote research. I was like, listen, a back five could have actually worked, you know. Conte, I wanted him. Listen, I wanted Conte too, man, but Conte is too defensive, dude. Conte is too defensive. Yeah. At one point, I wanted Conte. I think Conte. I wanted Conte before when we were looking to bring in Ten Hag. I would have liked to take Conte, man. But again, Conte is another one who doesn't stay long, right? He comes in, does the job, and bounces. Yeah, I know Conte wins. He wins, but he doesn't. Again, he's not one of those managers like a Mourinho type who will stay there for a project, 5 years or something like that. Um, yeah, after we lost 5 to Liverpool, Conte was, oh yeah, man, Conte was begging, man. Conte was begging for a job, dude. He was. He was. But, again, he's another one that kind of has that reputation that, he can be combative, right? So, again, the board, they were like, yeah, do we really want another one of those? Again, it didn't work out. So that could be why he was also disqualified. Because this board also probably wanted a manager that could work with them. Do you think Ten Hag is still the manager after Spurs, Porto away, and Villa away? Yeah, he's gonna be here, man. He's gonna be here because okay. So with Spurs, are we gonna win Spurs? We're not gonna lose. Like we may lose at Porto. I don't like Porto, man. Every time we play Porto, I'm always at ease. I always feel yeah. So we may lose. Damn, but Villa, they're looking good, man. I know draws are not good enough, but I don't think they're enough. They're bad enough to sack him. I think it has to be losses. Like for those games, for example, okay, at Tottenham, he's gonna set us up. We may eke out a draw. At Porto, damn, it's so sad, man. I'm looking at the games coming up and I don't see where our wins come from. Like honestly, today's game that was our win. I know we're full strength today, man. Yeah, dude, it's frustrating. We were full strength and we couldn't do. And we not only full strength at home, at Old Trafford, yo, at Old Trafford. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, yeah. But again, that's my reasoning stands. Ineos, they're gonna give this guy some time. I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger soon. If we lose to Porto, that's 2 out of 8. The group phase. Imagine we don't get. Oh my God! And listen, in this new format, right? In this new Europa League format, you have 8 chances to progress. If we don't get any of those, oh my life, man. Yeah, that could be something, man. That could be it could be suckable, because I mean, again, Ten Hag, he's a cup competition kind of coach, right? Being a cup competition, everybody's kind of tipping him to win this, to give us the path to the Champions League, right? So if he doesn't qualify for this to the second round of the of the Europa and he gets knocked out, then they'll be like okay, and then maybe they may check the standing, and probably we're sitting, I don't know, seventh by then. I mean, yeah, they may say, hey man, listen, it may be time, Ten Hag. We gave you a chance. Right? We gave you a chance, and it didn't work out. Then maybe Ruud van Nistelrooy takes over. um, they've already given him enough time. He had 7 games, more than enough. And 100 million. Yeah, dude, it's more than 180 million. Yeah, it's more than that. Ten Hag has been backed. He has been backed. I think I saw somewhere it's like, I don't know, 600 million or something like that. Listen, he has been backed, but that's what I'm saying. The problem is, right? Um, he has new players that it will take a while for the players to be integrated into quote unquote Ten Hag's ball. So they may give him time. So I don't know, man. They always say, well, Rome wasn't built in a day kind of thing. So they may say, what, Ten Hag, you gotta shape up. But I know one thing is we know they're watching him, right? Because we saw some reports. I don't know if you saw them like a month ago or something. They say, hey, basically they want to see a style of play. They want to see us not being dominated, right? And the couple of games that we played, yeah, we were playing. We're not dominated. The style of play is kind of, sort of showing. Like we saw in first half of Crystal Palace, kind of, right? So Ineos, they're looking at all that, right? They're looking to see if we are going somewhere. So again, man, this whole thing is kind of crazy. Tanaga era tweets that all the time, so jarring. I know. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It is, dude. It is. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But one thing I can say, uh, supporting Manchester United, it can really frustrate you. It can, I know a lot of fans out there, it can give you depression. But I always tell people, man, just keep your heads up. You know, sometimes, you know what, if it's better for you, some people say, hey, don't even watch the news, you know, or don't go on social media, because some people get really frustrated. It ruins their lives. And honestly, even for me, like whenever we play over the weekend and we're crappy, we lose, man, it messes up my whole weekend. But I try to tell myself, you know what, it's gonna get better. Okay. The same thing, Sir Alex Ferguson. Remember, he was almost sacked. Sir Alex almost was sacked. There were banners, there were flying banners, by airplane say, hey, this guy needs to be sacked. But they stuck with him, and look what happened. Sir Alex is the greatest of all time. So, I don't know. That's what I tell myself. So I hope you guys tell yourself something similar. That way you keep your sanity, because this team, man, sometimes you're like, listen, come on, man. You guys, you players are getting paid a whole bunch of money. All right, you're getting paid millions and millions. Go out there, leave everything on the field. You gotta deliver. That's the only thing we ask, man. Leave it on the field, because at least we'll say, okay, these guys were trying. Don't just sit there and say, hey, you know what? It is what it is, man. I'm gonna get my paycheck. Come on, that's not acceptable. People, I appreciate you being here. Ziad, thank you so much for hanging out, your boy. Should have kept Moise. Oh, no, man. Forget about Moise, dude. Forget about Moise. Ziad, smash a like. Ziad, hit the subscribe if you haven't done so. I appreciate you hanging out. Thank you so much. I'm your boy, Luther. This is Man United Central, guys. I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you. Peace out. Take care of yourself. Until next one.